Yep. Where's my thing? That's all right. Ha ha. Thank you, sir. Good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell Mayor and City Council meeting for November the 13th, 2023. I'm Mayor Kurt Wilson, and I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues and council members present. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Councilmember Lee Hills, Councilmember William Mortland, and Councilmember Michael Palermo. At this time, I'll now turn over to our City Administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, to explain how the meeting is run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, and good evening, everyone. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular public meetings. The purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via the city website prior to the meeting and at the back of the room as well. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. A significant and important component of City Council meetings are for Mayor and Council to hear directly from residents on the items listed on the agenda. Public comments and questions are essential for Mayor and Council to consider as they contemplate each decision. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart of the city, and therefore, it is imperative for Mayor and Council to hear from residents in these meetings. If you would like to speak on an agenda item, we ask that you fill out a comment card, which are located in the back of the room and at the podium, in order to ensure an accurate record of the meeting. We ask, of course, that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which should be and is reflective of this great community. The mayor is the presiding officer for the meeting and will ensure the orderly exchange of comments, questions, and discussion leading to decision-making by the elected body. We encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for meetings, events, and departmental information. We also encourage everyone to review and participate in the numerous offerings and various activities in the city, which you can find on Roswell365.com. There are a number of events scheduled upcoming in the city of Roswell. The mayor will address shortly, along with some other announcements, which promote community, physical activity, and leisure as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton. At this time, I'd like to call Dr. Sabin Strickland from Pleasant Hill Baptist Church to the front to lead us in the invocation and moment of silence.
Thank you so much, Mayor Wilson. It's always an honor to come and to share in prayer here at our Roswell City Council. I'm going to start with our moment of silence, and then I'll end with prayer. Let us pray. Our Lord and our God, we thank you for this day that you have made. We rejoice in it and we are glad. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for your keeping power and your sustaining hand. We gather in this place on tonight in this meeting, and I pray, God, for accordness. Of course, I pray for our mayor and council. I lift them up before you, God, and I pray that you would use them in a way to lead our city to the next phase and stage. I pray, God, for their wisdom. I pray, God, for their insight. I pray for their understanding. I pray for their unity of spirit and their bond of peace. Pray for this great city, God, and every community that makes it up. I pray for all of its citizens, the diversity that we share. Tonight, God, I would ask your presence here in this meeting. I thank you, God, for our esteemed veterans throughout this city. Thank you, God, for firefighters who would put themselves in harm's way to save the lives of another. Thank you for core community graduates who will be recognized here on tonight. And the upcoming future events of this city, I pray that you'd bless. Thank you, God, for this our time together. Bless it indeed. It is in your name, in the name of your Son, Jesus, that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you to Dr. Saban Strickland, pastor of Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. At this time, I'd like to call United States Army Staff Sergeant Joshua Kassan to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
DFW Post 12002, present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms.
Tonight we have a special treat. We have a senior from Blessed Trinity High School who was gracious enough to sing the national anthem for us at our veterans event on Saturday morning. And so the young 12th grader Maria Desari is going to sing the national anthem. Maria, come on up, and we're looking forward to having you. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
My friends, that is Maria Desari, 12th grade senior at Blessed Trinity High School. Maria, thank you, and thanks to you and your family for joining us tonight. Well done. Well done. Well done. At this time, I'd like to call Staff Sergeant Kassan to come back up and join me, and I'd like to ask the council to come down and join me for the first item under the mayor's report, which is a reading of a proclamation, forgive me, for the esteemed veteran Roswell Award to United States Army Staff Sergeant Joshua Kassan.
This side looks better for the pictures, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, Josh, we're not gonna sound as good as what just went before us, right? Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Staff Sergeant Josh Kassan. Whereas Josh's remarkable journey commenced in Billings, Montana, where he was born, grew up in Deer Lodge, and graduated from Anaconda High School in 1999. Joshua's family instilled in him the values of hard work, commitment, and dedication, with his father, Dave Kassan, hailing from Kalispell, Montana, and his mother, Lois Kassan, proud of her roots in Nashua, Montana. And whereas answering the call of duty in 1999, Joshua embarked on a path that would lead him to remarkable achievements, starting with basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, the home of armor. As an E1, Joshua's journey led him to Fort Riley, Kansas, where he became a proud member of the Devil Brigade, the 2nd Brigade, 2nd Battalion, 34th Armored Regiment, mastering every role within the tank from driver to loader to gunner, showcasing adaptability and determination. Whereas the venture continued as Joshua was stationed in the northernmost part of South Korea with the 4th Squadron, 7th Cavalry, where he served as a gunner, demonstrating his proficiency in operating the tank's weaponry. Whereas Joshua's commitment to service expanded beyond tank operations as he took on the role of a drill sergeant at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and Fort Huachuca, Arizona, in Charlie Company, 309th MI, mentoring and guiding new recruits, instilling discipline, confidence, and a sense of purpose. And whereas his journey within the U.S. Army reached a new chapter when he became a member of the 1st Battalion, 30th Infantry Regiment, undertaking pivotal roles as a gunner and ultimately as a tank commander, exemplifying leadership, confidence, and tactical prowess. Joshua's courage and dedication were tested in combat deployments in Iraq from 2007 to 2008, 2009 to 2010, and later in Afghanistan in 2012, standing unwavering alongside his fellow soldiers in the face of adversity. And whereas Joshua spent a total of 30 months deployed with the 1st 30th Infantry, first during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2007-2008, then part as Operation New Dawn in 2009-2010, and finally in 2012 as a part of Operation Afghanistan Freedom. Last duty station from 2013 to 2016 was Fort Benning, Georgia, home of the Armor and Infantry Movement Center of Excellence, 1st Squadron, 16th Cavalry, the unit he was with when he retired from the Army. And whereas during his military service, Joshua Kassan earned several distinguished medals and awards, including the NATO Medal, the Army Commendation Medal 3 times, the Army Achievement Medal 3 times, the Army Good Conduct Medal 3 times, the National Defense Service Medal twice, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, the Iraq Campaign Medal with Arrowhead, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Korean Defense Service Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, the Overseas Service Ribbon, Drill Sergeant Identification Badge, and Combat Action Badge. Retired Staff Sergeant Josh Kassan continues his dedication to service, supported by his loving wife, Ashley Kassan, who has been his unwavering source of motivation, strength, and love, embodying their commitment to their fellow veterans through his role as the Junior Vice Commander of the VFW for Post 12002 North Fulton. Now, therefore, I, Kurt M. Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby name Staff Sergeant Josh Kassan, esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and to our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who have served in the United States Armed Forces. Congratulations.
Awesome reading. Great job. Thank you.
Josh, a few words from you, please, sir.
Everybody, I want to definitely thank everyone here who is here enjoying this meeting right now. I want to give a special shout out to an amazing individual who is with us right now, and it is Al Liphart. He is the Senior Vice Commander-in-Chief of the entire VFW, and I love it. Thank you for being here. I also have my commander here, Jim Davis. Go ahead and stand up, sir. He has put in his time. He does great things for our VFW. And I thank you so much for what you do. And also our senior vice commander. Go ahead and stand up, Ron. He exemplifies service, commitment, and everything. And I'm proud of it. And here's the message that I wanted to say right now. If you know a veteran, you come from, a home with veterans, let them know we have a home for them. It's the VFW. We also have the American Legion, but if you went to combat, we want you with us. So what I task everyone to do is send someone to me. Find me on Facebook. We will get you involved. We will help with everything, but that's what I want. So please, right now, we are VFW Post 12002, and we are in North Fulton. We have all of our meetings at the American Legion Post 201. So if you could relay this message to all the veterans and tell them we are here and we are welcoming them home this time. Come get us, and thank you for being here.
Amen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Come on up, sit here. You got other family here you want in the picture?
Oh, yeah, my mother.
Come on, bring them up. Yeah, please.
Jared, Deanna, Larry, you guys want to come up here?
Yeah, come on up here. Come on. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Josh, how was it having the national anthem sung before? I wish we could do that every week for every esteemed veteran that we did. How cool was that?
That was the best.
It was the best, wasn't it? All right, so we've got a bunch to celebrate tonight. But before the celebration, I'd like to have our fantastic, I guess really I consider the best police chief in the entire United States, our police chief, Jim Conroy, to come up and do a presentation. And Chief Conroy is going to be talking. So just to give you a little feedback, and Chief will give you a lot more information, but in the last month, we've had 100 calls to our police department on deer incidents, let alone all the activity on social media. Happens every year. So the leadership team here said, let's present the facts as we know them. And so that's what the chief's going to do. So Chief, please take it away.
All right, good evening. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. As the mayor said, it's fall, and that brings deer season in the city of Roswell. Myself and the mayor and city council have received a number of emails and phone calls over the past several weeks regarding hunting in the city of Roswell. So the mayor asked me to come present some facts and exactly where we are and what we do about this. As he mentioned, in the past 30 days, I'll start with this, the Roswell Police Department responded to 13 calls regarding hunting complaints in the city. We also responded to 97 calls for service involving deer, and that includes 81 vehicle collisions with deer or dead deer in the roadway, 7 deer stuck on a fence, 8 injured deer, and 1 call of 2 deer fighting each other. Over the past year, the Roswell Police Department responded to 384 calls for service involving deer. So we do have a deer overpopulation issue in Roswell and in the state of Georgia. Hunting can be a controversial and emotionally charged issue, which is why we're here this evening. We have people who are in favor of hunting and people who are strongly opposed to hunting, and we're trying to navigate the waters in the middle. So I will start with Georgia law, OCGA 27-1-3, which states municipalities in Georgia cannot regulate hunting within their jurisdiction. Regulation is reserved solely for the state of Georgia. Enforcement of those regulations is done by the DNR, Department of Natural Resources. They respond to any calls involving wildlife or hunting within our municipality, as well as all throughout the state of Georgia. What can we do? So what the city of Roswell did is we passed an ordinance, 13.1.3, which talks about discharge of weapons. So I'm going to go over the weapons discharge and what it means. It shall be unlawful to discharge any firearm, air gun, BB gun, bow, or crossbow projecting lead or any missile except as authorized by permit. In order to obtain a permit, I'm skipping through the sections here, so I'm at section B now. The permit to discharge a firearm within the city the activity shall be conducted wholly within an approved and permitted indoor firing range. So the only way to get a permit to discharge a firearm in the city is inside an approved indoor firing range. That's the firearm section. Everything else pertains to air guns, BB guns, bows, and crossbows. In order to do that, you must get a permit from the city of Roswell to discharge these weapons. The shooter must have a sufficient backstop provided to prohibit the projectile from leaving the property. The discharge of weapon must be on the applicant's own land, or the applicant must have express written permission of the property owner to discharge such weapon on the property of another. All applicants must have taken and passed a state-approved safety course or obtained certification in the safe discharge of weapons or show specific proof of training in the safe discharge of weapons. Number 8, the discharge of any weapon must be on the property specified in each permit. So you must come get a permit, must be your property or written permission from the property owner, and you must have that permit with you at all times. I wrote in here just what the penalties, it's the same penalty for any other ordinance violation, which is a fine not exceeding $2,000, a sentence not exceeding 180 days, and community service not exceeding 180 days. Those are at the sole discretion of the judge. We have information, I think the next screen will have this for our webpage. Nope, go back, sorry. Information about this is posted on the city and police webpage under roswellgov.com/residents/hunting in Roswell. To obtain a permit, you call the Roswell Police Department, 770-640-4120. There is no charge for a weapons discharge permit in the city. If you see or observe what you think is illegal hunting, please call 911 or our non-emergency number, which is 770-640-4160. This is the general outlay of our ordinance and what we can and cannot do, but I would like to open the floor for any questions that you have, since you've received many concerns from our constituents.
Thank you, Chief. Council, thoughts, comments, or questions? Just for simplicity's sake, just a couple big overview things you might want to just to go over. One is the state of Georgia regulates hunting, not the city of Roswell.
Absolutely no municipality in the state could regulate hunting. It's done entirely by the state legislature with enforcement through the Department of Natural Resources.
2, you cannot discharge a firearm in hunting in the city of Roswell, is that correct?
You can only discharge a firearm in the city of Roswell in an indoor firing range.
Which means you cannot be used for hunting in the
Correct.
city of Roswell, correct?
Correct.
3, if you do have a hunting permit for the items listed for like a bow, for example, you have to have express written permission from the property owner to be able to hunt on that property.
Correct.
Just some very simple pieces, just so everybody can kind of know the rules.
Correct. And we've received, as I mentioned, 13 calls of people concerned about hunting. One thing that came up, I spoke to the gentleman who does have permits to come within the city to hunt, and he does have Roswell permits as well as a required state hunting license. There are residents that are approaching him and harassing him and calling the police. There is a law that's enforced by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources called harassing hunters. It's not something we enforce, DNR enforces that. But if you see anything you believe to be illegal hunting or you're concerned about anything, call 911, let us come out and take a look and make sure they have the appropriate permits.
Exactly. So if you have a thought about the matter and you're not sure, call the police, call 911.
Absolutely. We're more than happy to come out.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, the next item on the mayor's report is the recognition of City of Roswell firefighters Andrew Riley and James Laudermilk for receiving the 2023 Life-Saving Valor Award by the Georgia State Firefighters Association. At this time, I'd like to ask one of the great fire chiefs in the United States, Chief Joe Panino, to come forward for this very special recognition. Welcome, Joe.
So before we move on, so the police chief was the greatest police chief, and I'm one of the great fire chiefs. It's a point of clarity. All right, we're gonna work on that. So thanks for having us tonight. Before we get started, I would like to thank one of our special guests in the audience. Sandy Springs Fire Chief Keith Sanders and his wife drove up to join us. Thanks for coming tonight, Chief. I would also consider him one of the greatest. So we're in good company. So tonight we're recognizing firefighters Andrew Riley and James Laudermilk for receiving the 2023 Life Saving Award from the Georgia State Firefighters Association. At this time, I would like to invite them up along with Gary Clark, who's the president of the association, to share more information about this prestigious award. So please come up and join me.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing us the opportunity to be here tonight representing the Georgia Fire Service. I'd like to start by saying my name's Gary Clark. I'm president of the Georgia State Firefighters Association, and been the president for the past year. Got one more year to go. Georgia State Firefighters Association is the oldest firefighters association in the state of Georgia. We're right at 71 years, and we take pride in representing every firefighter in the state of Georgia. We're roughly right at the 4,000 mark in our membership, and we couldn't do this without having membership, such as these gentlemen here in our association. Tonight we're here to honor their accomplishments in this Life Saving Valor Award. The Georgia State Firefighters Association is a different organization. Like I said, we represent the firefighter from the recruit firefighter all the way to the chief officer or the fire chief and every position in between. Our motto is represent every firefighter, every department, every day. That's what GSFA is, and that's what we try to do. And tonight we're honored, we're here to honor these two firefighters here in Roswell for their quick thinking and actions that saved the life of a lady in distress. Says the Life Saving Valor Award is given when an individual places him or herself in harm's way where potential life-threatening conditions are occurring and in the performance of a meritorious act that results in a life-saving event. And tonight we honor these two men for such acts of bravery. Please allow me to read the citation for the award of the Life Saving Valor Award from our association. On April the 27th, 2023, the City of Roswell E911 Communications Center received a call reporting a woman struggling in the Chattahoochee River near the Don White Memorial Park. Excuse me. The Roswell Fire Department Swiftwater Rescue Team and firefighters led by Captain Tim Cochran responded to the scene. Firefighters Andrew Riley and James Laddermilk, assigned to Engine 24 and Truck 24, respectively quickly donned a water rescue vest and attempted to reach the woman in distress by throwing a rope to her. When these efforts failed and the woman was unable to grab the rope, the two firefighters immediately jumped into the 50-degree water and swam out to the victim, bringing her to safety. Other responders on the scene included Battalion Chief Ken Fisher, firefighter Charles Corbett, firefighter Keith Snyder, and Captain Tim Cochran. The heroic acts of these two firefighters, Riley and Laddermilk, in this situation undoubtedly saved the life and is a testament to the character and willingness to put others first. The writing of this honor is to recognize the bravery and quick thinking. GSFA is proud to recognize James Laddermilk and Andrew Riley as recipients of the 2023 GSFA, Georgia State Firefighters Association Life Saving Valor Award. Please join with me in congratulating these two men in their meritorious effort award. And if I could have the mayor and council come down and have pictures with us, please. Thank you.
You guys are off.
We're trying to scoot you down this way. Good job, Chad. Okay, everybody looking here. And council guys, can you guys move one over in between the heads? That way, perfect, good. There we go, looking here. One more, thank you. Everybody scoot down, put them all in there. Come on the other side too. Here we go on 3, 1, 2, 3, another 1, 2, and 3. Last one, 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. You get yours?
Yep, got mine. I'm good. Yep.
Thank you, Johnny.
I'll get him. Thank you.
Congratulations to our firefighters, Andrew Riley and James Loudermilk. A very deep appreciation from our city. Thank you so much for your bravery and courage and professionalism. All right. There's a fire rush. Joe's leaving. All right, so the next item on the mayor's report is a recognition of the City of Roswell's 2023 Core Community Graduates. The Core is a great program here in the city, and the people who do the Core are just incredible citizens. And this time I'd like to ask Julie Breckbill to come forward for the special recognition and tell us more about the Core community. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We are very excited to be here tonight to introduce the 2023 Core Community Graduates. This is the first group we've had to go through the program since 2020 when we went on hiatus for COVID. This group is very special to us, and they are extremely engaged in the community, as many of them have also participated in the Roswell Police Department Academy and the Fire Academy programs. Core Community, for those of you who may not know, is a free 9-week program offered to our citizens and business owners of Roswell to help bring awareness of the city's day-to-day operations in how we serve our residents. Each week, the program highlights the work of a city department or service with the goal of familiarizing the participants with policies, processes, goals, challenges, activities, and of course, our staff. We look forward to these graduates continuing to be advocates for the city, and we are excited to provide this program again next fall for anyone who would like to see a behind the scenes of their local government. And I'd like to introduce the ladies who oversee this program, coordinate it, and do all the hard work. Lavanya Jones, who is our community engagement manager, and Jennifer Webb, who is a communication specialist with the city, and they pull this off beautifully.
So we would like to bring up the core participants that are here tonight so we can give them some honor and attention. I would just like to say they're such a great group. They were really fun, and they were very engaged, and it was just really exciting. I learned a lot of things from them just like they did from us. And it was really fun because it was such a great dynamics. We had people that was been here 2 years and people been here 38 years. So it was such a great mix of people. And so I learned just as much from them, and I hope they learned just as much from us. So come on down. We'll take some pictures if you guys want to come down. Would any of you like to say anything? Would y'all like anybody like this? Do you ever say anything?
Go.
No, we gotta go around to the other side.
Do you want to introduce everybody by name, just kind of announce all the Core graduates of this year?
Yeah. Okay, yep, I have the names here. Please forgive me if I did this at their graduation, so hopefully I got the names down by now. But we have Terry Hughes, who's not here tonight, Candace Shea, Delia Helms, Dory Griggs, who's also our fire chaplain, yay, Suzanne Miller, April Lee, Shannon Gillen, Dolores Bonin, Tony Kirk, Virginia Haynes, Philip Calloway, Chip Fishburne, Catherine Willard, Lucy Jackett, Laura Strasburger, Mark Pachaya, David Campbell, Linda Lee Parker, Skip Smith, Bruce Ackley, George Crumbly, Thelma Gabb, Monica Russell, and Donna Crawford. So. Okay, let's get some photos. Let's go around this side, guys.
Yeah, we'll do that. How wide can you go?
Pretty wide.
Okay. Yeah, I can go really wide with my phone, but keep on packing in. Pack them in, get everybody on the council on the back row. Put Christina in the middle there.
There you go.
Okay, Christine, go this way or that way? One way. Go that way. There you go. Coming that way. Good. Everybody looking here? There you go. We got everybody? Yeah. Okay, here we go. On 3. 1, 2, and 3. Another one. 1, 2, and 3. And last one. 1, 2, and 3. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Everybody good there?
Yep.
Rapidly. Hey, Julie, did you want to say anything about CORE? Because it's really cool. I know we haven't done it in 3 years, and I think everybody that's done CORE, like, you guys loved CORE, did you? You guys that did, you thought it was amazing, right?
Yeah, you know, CORE for the community actually came out of CORE. My office created, the communications office years ago created CORE for employees. And they would go through an 8 or 9 week program, and we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could do this for our citizens and business owners? And so right before, I think we did 2 classes before COVID hit. And so those 2 years we did 2 core classes for the community, and they were such a huge success. And so we were so happy to be able to bring it back this year. And I want to thank Mayor and Council for budgeting it, because that's very important. And you know, during the COVID years, we weren't budgeted for it. So thank you very much for allowing us to do that again and budgeting for it. So it's such a great program, and everybody that goes through it really enjoys it. And we're looking forward to doing this every year going forward.
Julie, thanks for leading it and making it happen with you and your team. And I'm so excited that fellow residents got a glimpse, and it's kind of cool, and we'll keep doing it. Thank you. The only thing I heard was there was a complaint that I got this survey back from y'all that you thought the police chief was the best police chief in the United States, but the fire chief was not quite up there yet. So we'll just take, that's where I got those comments from. All right. At this time, we've got 2 items left on the mayor's report. Lee, I'm going to come to you on upcoming events and other announcements.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Quite a few things coming up on the horizon. We are getting into the busy hustle bustle season of the year. I want to remind you to find out what's going on in Roswell and where you can advertise what's going on with you that's open to the public on our website, www.roswell365.com. We have the last couple of days of the call for applications for Deck the Square, which is the gallery of trees at the historic town square. That deadline is this Friday, the 17th. That's open to any organization, any HOA, any individual that would like to decorate a tree, and it'll remain lit throughout the holiday season. And those lights will be turned on the day our Christmas tree is lit, and we'll go through the holidays. You can find out more about that and how to apply at Roswell365.com. Also want to direct your attention to this Friday again, November the 17th at 7 p.m. The Roswell Youth Theater presents Elf the Musical Junior at the Roswell Cultural Arts Center. This is also on Saturday, November 18th, and there are 2 shows that day. There's just on Friday at 7 p.m. and on Saturday the 18th, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And this is based on the beloved holiday film. The hilarious fish out of water comedy follows Buddy the Elf in his quest to find his true identity and place called home. And you can find ticket information on that and times at Roswell365.com. Just search Elf the Musical or Cultural Arts Center. Also this coming weekend, History Seek Saturday is our veterans, November 18th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Bullock Hall. You can learn about the military service of the Bullock and Roosevelt families and about the ways in which soldiers were cared for during and after the American Revolutionary War and the Civil War. Roswell's Historic Assets Division will be hosting a monthly series of programs the 3rd Saturday of each month. For November, visit Bullock Hall to commemorate veterans and learn about the role Archibald Bullock played in the Revolutionary War. Discover how Theodore Roosevelt Jr. and his father sought to help American soldiers and veterans. Visit our docent-staffed stations to learn these interesting stories about our wonderful city of Roswell and ask your own questions. Also on what I would call Historic Asset Row, we've got at Bullock Hall coming up the authentic Christkindl Market, which is a German market, and that'll open up on November 24th and go through December 24th. I actually drove through there 2 days ago, and the structures are already going up, so want to be sure to point that out to stop in. This is presented by Friends of Bullock, Inc. and Roswell Rotary Club at Bullock Hall. Have you ever been to a German Christmas market? It's free and fun to meander through the holiday vendors, enjoy a beer garden with seasonal food and drink, a children's carousel, and Bullock Hall decorated for the holidays in traditional European style. Christkindl Market will be set up for your holiday season on the front lawn of Bullock Hall. You can't miss it. On Bullock Avenue and off of Roswell's historic town square. So while you're wandering through the Deck the Square trees, you can come on down to see the Christkindl at Bullock Hall. Lots to do, and of course you may find more information at roswell365.com. Tuesday, November the 28th is Giving Tuesday, and this is a global day of giving that harnesses the collective power of individuals, communities, and organizations to encourage giving and to celebrate generosity worldwide. Every year, millions of people across the globe mobilize on Giving Tuesday to show up, give back, and change their communities. Roswell helps local nonprofits through its Nonprofit Partner Program, which is the NPP. This program helps Roswell-based nonprofits by providing training, networking opportunities, and community updates in city-sponsored forums, seminars, and emails, as well as assistance in finding and submitting much-needed grants. It also acts as a way for residents to connect with these nonprofits, their missions, and to volunteer. To date, there are 24 nonprofits in the program. For more information, yes, roswell365.com or roswellgov.com/Giving Tuesday. And then finally, unless the mayor has an add-on, Roswell Clay Collective presents the 20th Works in Clay Holiday Show and Sale at the Arts Center West. This is at Lita Thompson Park. It is exceptional. I've been many times. The opening reception is Thursday, November 30th from 6 to 9, and it continues through Saturday, December 9th. RCC, which is it's grateful to the city of Roswell, teachers, staff, members, and most importantly for the loyal support of its patrons for the continued success of this biannual event. This much anticipated exhibition presents handmade artwork from more than 30 artists featuring functional, sculptural, and whimsical ceramics. There is something for everyone, from those looking for smart gift ideas to serious collectors searching for that special work of art. For times each day, go to Roswell 365. You can just look up clay and you'll be able to find that. I highly recommend it. Take your wallet and you'll find something really special. So hopefully we'll see you around Roswell soon. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks so much. And Sarah, before I come to you, I got one council member who's got another event he wants to add. I don't know what it is, so I'm kind of scared. But, Will, there's another event you want to add.
Yes, sir. This is something that was newly added tonight in our calendar, but the December the 2nd, we have the very first Roswell High School Soccer Run for Kicks 5K and Fun Run. It's going to be held at the Sweet Apple Elementary School, Sweet Apple Park, over on Etris Road. The fun run begins at 8 o'clock. The 5K begins at 8:30, and everything anyone needs to know about this is on Roswell 365. All the proceeds go back into the Roswell High School soccer program.
And you're not going to update us on any of the football playoffs of the Roswell High Schools that are in the playoffs by any chance, are you?
A little bit later.
Okay. Sarah, I'm going to have Councilmember Beeson announce the communication awards received by the city. So, Sarah, thank you.
Thank you. So speaking of Roswell365.com, which is a labor of love of our communications department, wanted to mention tonight the City of Roswell's Communications Division has clinched multiple national awards for excellence from the City County Communications and Marketing Association, otherwise known as 3CMA. The national recognition highlights the outstanding contributions in the field of communications. The awards reflect the team's commitment to innovation, creativity, and delivering messages that resonate with audiences on a local and national scale. And among the awards that they received, there's multiple awards. So the awards they received were the Silver Circle Award for the best use of social media and a campaign for the recurring event for Roswell Roots, the Silver Circle Award for the publication of the Roswell Recreation Park's Historic and Cultural Arts Summer Brochure, the Award of Excellence for the publication of the Roswell Community Calendar featuring the Fire Department, the Award of Excellence for the Education Video Georgia Bond Referendum Video Series. And these awards highlight the diverse talents and capabilities of our own communications division here at the City of Roswell. They were up against over 875 entries across the 38 categories, which goes to show just how incredibly winning our communications division is. We just heard from Julie Brackbill earlier this evening, who is the director of that division. So want to make sure that we give a shout out to her and her team for some of these incredible awards and keeping Roswell not only on the map, but in the loop.
Yeah, Sarah, there's so much there, it's kind of easy just to glaze over that. Like, each one of those is actually pretty substantial. Yeah, and there was multiple awards, so congratulations to Julie and her team. Sarah, thanks for being a part of the communications team this year and helping us out on so many pieces. And Randy, to you and Rich and all the leadership you guys have exemplified, which continues to make great things happen. Thank you guys so much. So next is the consent agenda, in the mayor's report. Next, the consent agenda. Does the council have any questions or comments regarding any items on the consent agenda? Okay, being that they're not, I'll call for a motion. Do I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion for Councilmember Hills. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Morthland. All in favor of passing the consent agenda, please raise your hands. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Next is the city attorney's report. City Attorney, Mr. David Davidson, would you please read your first item?
Thank you, Mayor. The first item I have is abandonment and possible swap or sale of right-of-way at 4 Elizabeth Way. The applicant has requested that the city abandon 550.5 square feet along the frontage of the building at 4 Elizabeth Way. The area has been looked at by our transportation department and found to be lacking of easy handicap access from Canton Street side. And they have determined that there is no other public purpose for this sidewalk. The value is less than $75,000 by appraisal. Actually, the property has appraised for $36,000. The city has also asked the applicant about possibly getting their rights to the East Alley property. The city has the rights to all the other properties along East Alley except for this one. So that would be a benefit for the city. And with that, I would ask the applicant to come forward and present.
Steve, hold on for a second let me see if I can save you a minute. Council, do you have any comments or questions on this matter? Councilmember Palermo?
I do. I think Mr. Rockland has a,
Yes, sir. Mr.
I
Rockland.
would like to present, we're in the 50th month. I've got stuff for you guys to look at. I'd like to get questions. I think if I speak for 10 minutes, we'll answer a lot of things, and pictures are worth thousands of words. So I think if we get a few minutes up here, it'll make it a lot easier. And Mike's questions, Sarah's, or anybody's questions up here may get answered across the board. So, I mean, I don't want him to just start asking questions without seeing all the things that we've gone through and done. So we've got some pretty amazing stuff to look at here tonight.
Yeah, Steve, I'm just trying to save you some heartache because I think this council's been working pretty hard on this in the last 72 hours and have actually looked at your plans in detail and have asked a lot of these questions internally and are prepared to talk about it publicly. But if you have the desire to do a public presentation, my brother, rock on and let it go.
I do.
I know you can't help yourself, Steve, sometimes.
And first, I'd like to thank council for Steve Rockland with SARGC Consulting. We're general contractors, historical renovation contractors. We are representing 306 Broadway LLC tonight, which is the property owners for 4 Elizabeth Way, which is at the corner of Canton Street and Elizabeth Way in front of the downtown city park. First, a little background just so we can go through this. We started this in 2019. We are in the 50th month of what we've done. We've had approximately 86 meetings with the city from building permits, demolition permits, presentations, HPC. I've seen every department. Only 2 council members were present and David at the time when we started this. And what I would like to do is kind of hand out a packet that you can see, because I know there's been questions about whether this was right, not right, and I want to make sure everybody feels 100% good about this. Eileen did a lot of research. We have a building in Selma, Alabama, that if you look at it, you're going to think it's a sister building, and the precedent is there for balconies and galleries and renovations, and I'm going to pass that out first. And I've got one other packet to pass out to just show the condition the building was in when we inherited it, so that there's some appreciation for what some of our people, when they buy stuff, that they really do want to refurbish something, keep it historic, and preserve it for our downtown area. Sorry for speaking without the microphone. What you see there is the Selma building was built in 1860. It's an identical building to what we have here. There's historical renovations on there. There is preservation that was done there, as well as there's a new picture of what they are conceptually considering in their HPC. So I think if you take a look at that, it really is astonishing what's been gone on and gone through. And also, with everything that we've talked to about the building and the renovations, there are two chapters rather, in the interior standards for rehabilitation. And I just want to read those to you tonight, just to put everybody's mind at ease a little bit more. Article 9, new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historical materials characterized in the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with mass, size, scale, architectural features to protect the historical integrity of the property and the environment. So what we're presenting is exactly what we're trying to say in that article. Number 10, new additions and adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historical property and its environment would not be impaired. What we're adding here for the gallery and balcony can be taken off the building in one full day, and you'd never know we were there. So I think once you see that, and I'm going to give you two new posters or renderings that we've done. Right now, we are in the process of the building permit we got to refurbish the building. Gene and his partner are spending $350,000 to put in like windows. The doors were sent out to Pace Restoration to refurbish the old doors. We've got them all back. They look brand new, but they're the original doors that have been there for a long, long time. So I think when you take a look at what we've already done, and I know there might be some more questions, you can see that what this looks like fits definitely into downtown. This is actually, when you think about it, this is the beacon when we come down and we hit the 5 Points area. When you look at this, when you drive in, when you got something like this to look at, I mean, this is really the cornerstone of downtown. So people, when they see this, are going to be impressed and really enjoy what this has to offer. It's unique to downtown because it's one of the only two-story buildings. So there's nobody else can duplicate this from Rock and Taco down to Vickers. There's no other buildings like this that are available for that except the ones that have the porches on them now. So I think with these kind of examples that I've given you tonight, what you see in front of you, now if we have some questions, maybe it's easier to answer.
Steve, I told you to bring this to us 22 months ago. We should have had this conversation 22 months ago. You mentioned 50 months. You wasted 22 months coming to council because we're already on board. But I think there'll be a few questions, maybe discriminating questions from council. Everybody loves it, want it, need it, on board. We've been on board for 2 years, Steve. So the only mistake you made was not coming here 22 months ago, because, and that was my word. I said, come here, bring it to council. Everybody's on board. So,
Mr. Mayor, it actually took a year to get the abandonment, all the legal stuff together.
you made this one harder on yourself, just FYI. Yes, sir, Councilmember Palermo.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson. So you mentioned that basically all the effort you were putting in started in 2019. I'd say I didn't actually closely start being aware of stuff until probably late 2021. And for those listening, so these two gentlemen have some of the highest quality restorations and improvements I've seen, whether it be Steve within Roswell, or Gene in even bigger time places with amazing historic districts. So the quality is top notch. With it, at the time when I started being aware of it, at the time, the only thing I was aware of was that there was a plan for a roof deck, which I think sounds really exciting. And I had found out that staff was having it where basically the roof deck would only be the middle of the roof and that people could not even get anywhere near the edge, which I thought was a big waste of space and really a lost opportunity to not allow people to stand, closer to the edge as long as it's safe. And so that's where certainly my focus was on the roof deck that'd be coming. That being said, I as is no surprise, I don't share the mayor's excitement with this, because I think listening to the HPC meeting, it's where Judy Meir, the president of the Historical Society and long-term prior member of the HPC, as well as Sarah Winter, I think even though I certainly don't agree with the two of them on everything, they don't agree with me on everything, but I did share some of the concerns that this building I feel is really iconic for downtown Roswell. And certainly I am somewhat of a historical purist in the sense of what I truly think is so special about Roswell is the true history that we have, unlike other places where it looks a lot manufactured. And frankly, even Alpharetta, who's certainly done some good job and some great jobs in some spots, certainly has a little more of a manufactured feel. And that's where I think the authenticity that we have in downtown Roswell is really valuable. And this being that largest building, that two-story building, and I am concerned that on just how this impacts it. What I'd say is under the assumption that I don't think, I certainly don't think everyone shares my views, and I completely get that, because again, we have some very high quality, we have individuals with very high quality experience that absolutely are looking to just to add to our historic district, and I certainly appreciate that. What I would say too is Commissioner Narange, so Gertesh, in listening to the audio, he had an interesting point of kind of what I saw as potential somewhat of a compromise, where he addressed, he loves the view from Elizabeth Way. He had concerns with the wraparound part and was not as supportive of the Canton Street side of it. So those are some initial just reactions that I have. But that being said, if this mayor and council does choose to move forward with the resolution, what I would encourage this mayor and council to do is do some rewording, because right now it just says if redeveloped to include a handicap access. I think I would recommend this mayor and council instead put some language just to basically require public handicap access, because if the city does choose to give away this right-of-way, which I think there is benefits to, given the fact that there's obviously property behind the building, the city would get clear deed to. But if the city does move forward to this, I think it should be important for on Canton Street and Elizabeth Way for any right-of-way that's being abandoned, just to ensure that the public is going to continue to have access to that. So those are basically all my responses. Certainly, Mr. Rockland, certainly open to any responses on my reactions, but I just wanted to just address all of that for my thought process.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your thoughts on the public handicap. That's a good thought. Council, any other thoughts or comments? I know Mr. Rockland wants to speak, but I want to bring council back into it before I come back to Mr. Rockland. With that being said, I'm going to take a short recess for 5 minutes. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Thanks very much. Let me end the recess back for 5 minutes. Thanks for a little quick break. All right, I think council didn't have any other thoughts or comments. Mr. Rockland, I think you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, first, for Mr. Palermo, the handicap ramp and the sidewalk on that side of the building on Canton Street is still your sidewalk. We're not abandoning that. It's only in front of the building, which is 11.6 feet, 11 feet 6 inches rather, away from the building, and the length of the building, which is 50 feet. So that's 550.5 square feet. There is access when you come up that handicap ramp for the public to walk all the way down that sidewalk and continue to walk. So from the front of the building, there's 7 feet before you reach where the dining tables will be on the outside portion of the porch. There's also on the outside of the walkway in front of Elizabeth Way, another 5-foot sidewalk that's available for people that don't want to walk up there on this, in front of the businesses, that's available, that's not abandoned, that is the right-of-way of the city, so the city's transportation still has sidewalk there and sidewalk in front of the building.
So I just want to make sure I understand that. So on Canton Street, there's no, that's not where the right-of-way is being abandoned, so that remains city property?
100%.
Okay, and so therefore, okay, so Elizabeth Way is the only place that it's being abandoned, and if I'm understanding correctly, you're bringing up that, which way would the public still have the ability to access? Is that in front of these planters?
So there's the planters, then there's 4-foot tables, and there's 7-foot sidewalk. You'll be able to walk down that whole sidewalk, open to the public. You'll come up that handicap ramp, which is 42 inches wide, 4-foot rail, 5-foot sidewalk on the outside of that. That's all accessible. That's still the city's property.
Okay, and I think I'm just, that's what I'm understanding. So basically, in between the building and the planters, there'd still be a public place where people would be able to walk?
If you see where the columns are, the posts?
Yes.
Those are 11'6" away from the building.
Okay,
So from the building, 11'6", there will be tables on the outside of that for dining.
yep, sure.
4 foot wide, roughly.
Yep.
That'll leave you 7 foot of access through that space, which is enough for 2 people to pass, servers to come out and serve, and be able to work.
And that makes sense, and that was my expectation, the way that it had been described. That's where I'm suggesting that, if I'm understanding correctly from a legal standpoint, there should be something in there just showing that public access in case years down the road, new tenants, new owner, whatnot, decides they want to close that area off. So that's the part that I'm referring to, if I'm understanding correctly.
That's not a problem.
Thank you, Councilmember Palermo. Yes, ma'am, Councilmember Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. And just reading the resolution and abandonment, my concern would be, or what I'd like to add to it would be that if in the future the gallery, which is called the gallery on the Elizabeth Way side, or the balcony on the Canton Way side, should that go away, that property reverts back to the city. So
You're getting a
perhaps,
monetary, we're trading property here, so would have to be some kind of monetary, because if we took off the balcony, we still may want to use that area for dining and a right-of-way and not have to go through a cafe license. So if the city wants to pay some money to get it back, I'm sure they would probably do that. I don't see that as a problem, because I don't think that's ever coming off once it's on there and once the building's in use. But I mean, somewhere in there, we'd have to talk to legal about how that would exchange.
so, and perhaps Mr. Davidson could speak to that, but my concern is if that becomes your property and it changes hands down the future, or many councils down the road, that somebody might want to build and enclose that area.
You wouldn't give a building permit. You'd have to get an approval for that from HPC, and you'd have to get a building permit. I would think the city would deny on both cases.
Councilmember Palermo?
Well, and what Mr. Rockland actually, he said he doesn't have a problem with what I was suggesting around some type of language showing that there can always be that public access, in which case, if that is the case, then there'd never be ability to close it off, because that'd be taking away public access.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Beeson?
Just to make sure that we're all on the same page of what purview we're voting on this evening, towards the bottom of the resolution to abandon the right-of-way. It's whereas the property has appraised this small stretch of roughly 550 square feet on Elizabeth Way as $36,000. In return, though, secondarily, whereas the city is interested in acquiring the owner's interest in East Alley, provided the value received is equal or greater than the value of the city's property herein described and proper legal requirements are met. In this case, I realize that we're kind of going down this rabbit hole related to the gallery, but really the focus this evening is focusing on this small portion of the sidewalk in exchange for the city does not currently control entirely that East Alley access at the back. Is that correct?
Sarah, thanks for bringing that up. And I thought we had made an addition that, I don't know if y'all saw late. is the addition here, revision? So the revision to specifically address what you just said is, it's basically $36,000. Hey, you want this front piece? The city is asking for the back piece, right? If the back piece doesn't equal $36,000 and say, all right, then the sum of, say the back piece is worth $24,000, then it's saying, hey, make up the $12,000.
Right, so there will still be a monetary exchange in the event that they do not equal out.
That's correct.
Right, so we're not giving anything away in this situation. There is
well
an
said.
appraised monetary value.
That's right.
I'm good to move forward.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thanks for expressly addressing that.
I think actually what you're giving up 555 square feet in the front, but you're getting back about 1,290 square feet in the back, so.
Gene, Gene, do you want to come up? Are you sure? You look way too comfortable. I think we need to get you out of on the hot seat. Well, I want to echo Councilmember Palermo's seats. I know the city is super excited about this project. The city's been super excited about this project. I know a lot of people are excited about this project. This is going to be great for the city of Roswell. It's going to be great for the downtown area. It's going to be a tremendous addition to Canton Street and Elizabeth Way. Can't wait for this to happen. I got to give a lot of credit to Councilmember Hills and Councilmember Palermo. Hard to believe. But 24 months ago, when Lee first encountered this project and Mike first and thanks to Randy and his leadership and Rich and Jeff, things are getting better internally on how we're dealing with some of this stuff and coming to some common sense approaches. And that was Mike was first, when Mike was all about the rooftop bar, and we had kind of skimmed down your rooftop bar. And that's why I said, come to me, baby, 22 months ago. Council's ready to deal with it. And Mike's been a real proponent of getting that rooftop bar addressed in an appropriate manner that makes it have a much more commercial and successful value for the city as well as for you guys as the ownership. I'm very excited about that. And you guys do great quality work. Steve, glad you're on this project. We know it's going to be well done. Gene, thank you for investing in our city. We appreciate it very much. And anytime you want to come up and not say anything, you're welcome. So I'm going to ask council, are there any thoughts, comments, or questions? Councilmember Hills.
I got one more. I'm really looking forward to this opening up this Christmas. I think it's going to be a hit. I really do. And I'm from a little town, Opelika, Alabama, and I have watched them not Auburn their downtown, and that's a logo in the city of Opelika, where they have done something very similar to this to historic buildings, where I was 2 when I moved there, but they've put on balconies in a manner that really complements the history and doesn't compromise the structure. So like you said, Mr. Rockland, if it were to be removed later, the building would still be intact. So I've seen it. I couldn't believe that it could happen, and I'm delighted that it can, because I believe this is one more home run for us in the city of Roswell, adding to this. And I know that Historic Roswell, Historic Roswell Beautification has really been pushing on getting the Heart of Roswell Park redone. And while that park didn't meet our bond list, it's on our radar. And so there's just going to be more and more, not even Botox, like serious overhaul that goes on there that really complements and supports the history in this city, that I think will continue the love and the draw that brings people in to spend their money here, to buy homes here, to bring their families and visit. And I can't wait to sit. I'll get on the second floor and throw some ice cubes up at Mr. Palermo up there, soon enough. But I'm really pleased to support this. I can't wait to see it open, thriving, making money, making memories for people that come to visit. So thank you for all the hard work in the 50 months. Means a lot.
Thanks, Lee. Thank you. Hey, Mike, can I take it to the public, or do you want to comment now?
I can wait.
You sure? Okay. So are there any Roswell residents that would like to address this item? Miss Sarah, welcome. Scott, how are you, sir? Good. How are you? To share with everybody your name and where you live in Roswell. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, Scott Long, 1055 Martin Ridge Road. And I was came out here because the wording of the resolution I was concerned about something in it, and now I just see that it's different. So have y'all put it up, what we're gonna vote on? What
Is it
y'all
up?
are gonna vote on?
Can we put it up? You want mine?
Because originally it sounded
You want
like.
mine, Jeff?
This is like this is like inch by inch battleground property, and where every inch matters, like I remember Salt, like they thought about every inch that pole would be around the chairs and whether it'd be a chain or not. We put benches in front of the old candlery, and the business owners got really upset it was gonna affect their queuing and stuff, so we have to get it super right. So yeah, originally, the wording was so that they could get control of the property without even giving us the East Alley property. They could just pay amount, which is like peanuts. But so now it says, correct me if I'm wrong, it still says that we will immediately, without giving receiving the East Alley property, abandon the right-of-way. They'll have the right-of-way. And then after that, if they give us the property, they can then also own the property. Wouldn't we want the right-of-way to be contingent on us getting their property, as well as ownership being contingent on that? Because otherwise they could just get the right-of-way, it's theirs, they don't have to give us the property, they still have, now they can use it. So that was one of the questions I had. First of all, did I read that right? And if so,
I'm gonna let the city attorney address that one,
should we
Scott.
make it all conditional on getting the property rather than giving right away with nothing and then?
So basically, the council's authorizing the abandonment, but they will not receive any property until the city receives legal title to the East Alley and a dollar amount equal to make it the fair market value if it's worth less.
Okay, so just abandoning.
The mayor's only authorized to sign the quitclaim deed to them upon this other stuff happening.
Okay, so the first part, City of Roswell abandons, they can't touch the property until, they don't.
Correct.
They can't use it, they can't put tables on it.
Correct, correct.
So yeah, so the only other thing, so that's good. The only other thing I was gonna say is, this route is exactly, when we park at City Hall to use the new Hawk Crossing, this route, that 10-foot route, is exactly the way we come to South Canton Street, if that's where we're gonna go, to South Canton Street. We don't go on that little skinny piece because we're a big SUV city. Those things are always hanging over the curb. There's not much room and everything. And it's not the natural way. You can't see the storefronts. You can't go window shopping. And it's the same is true if you're wandering around South Canton Street and you wanna kind of browse towards where we're gonna eat, Buzz Cucina, look in the stores or whatever. We go on that big wide sidewalk. So when you're 2 steps down on something that's away from the buildings, you're not facing the stores. So I guess we just want to make sure there's no way that anybody would ever say, this is our property, you can't walk through here on a stroll down the street or something. So maybe that idea that Councilmember Palermo brought up would do it, but definitely don't want to lose that because that's our route in both directions.
No, the actual width of the property addressing.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, very much. Thank you, sir. Are there other comments from any Roswell residents like to address the matter? If not, I'll bring it back to council. Gene, are you sure? No, Steve. No, trust me.
I'm just going to rebut one thing. That 555 square feet ends up being 288,000 for a acre of property. So that's what that property was valued out as. So, and then the East Alley will probably be worth more because it's 1,290 square feet in exchange for 555. And also for Mr. Palermo, the front sidewalk that's there now was built in '95 before the Olympics. It's 4 foot wide. It'll be 5 foot wide.
Thank you, Steve. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Councilmember Palermo?
Yes, so I'm certainly, again, encouraging this council to update some language that just shows what Mr. Rockland said he certainly plans and supports, which is just ensuring, just as Mr. Long mentioned, of having the public access there, knowing that we would have abandoned the public right-of-way. They'd be putting some tables and chairs further away from their doors, but just ensuring there's the walk-through public ability. So I certainly encourage that, and certainly would likely abstain with that being at least I think a good outcome compared to the original draft. And then lastly, I guess the public can't see it, but that is a beautiful looking roof deck that's allowing everybody to go to actually the edge of the roof instead of being stuck in the just in that tiny little middle. So I'm really glad to see the picture of that roof deck, which has improved since 2021 for sure.
You did a good job on that, Mike. Seriously, you fought for that.
Well, because I thought I was ready to change the code over it, and then found out that actually staff was just looking at something that wasn't taking it all into account. So I'm glad that they saw that they were applying something that wasn't even in the code, and really glad to see.
Gene, that looks a lot different than
that.
it did 2 years ago, doesn't it? That roof deck, that rooftop deck.
The rooftop looks fantastic.
Well, Lee was there with you too. I give Lee credit. Tell you what, you got to come up here, Gene. You come up here. I know.
Yeah, I always likened, number one, to have a viable business there, you want people walking right by your front door. That's where you want them walking. We'll have some tables that are out a little bit further. I always likened it to Roomies up in Avalon, where you walk out of Roomies and there's the sidewalk, and then they have their little outdoor cafe set up out there. So that was the sort of the thought process of that. So, but I'll tell you, if we can ever get started on this thing, believe me, we're going to make it something special for the city. I can promise you that.
We're excited. At least I think I speak
So
for
let's
everybody.
vote.
All right, council, any other thoughts, comments, or questions? Being there are none, I am going to ask for a motion to approve this abandonment and swap of right-of-way on 4 Elizabeth Way. Do I have a motion for such?
Motion to approve, as Mayor Wilson has just described.
Motion to approve the abandonment and swap of right-of-way on 4 Way. Is Councilmember Palermo?
To clarify, is that with the assurance that even future tenants or owners would still be having public access in there? Is that adding something in there for that future requirement?
David, would you again comment on that from the standpoint of what we're actually voting on tonight in relation to any future issues?
So that's not actually included in the resolution right now, so if you want to add it, it would need to be a condition of the approval, and you could just say, provide a continuous 7 feet.
Yeah, well, make it approximate because you could have a 60-inch table, 6 feet at least.
Okay, continuous, at least 6 feet, public access directly adjacent to the building.
Fair enough.
How about we say in front of the building?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Michael, you good with that?
I think it's just,
You voted for it, Mike?
Just a quick side swipe. Sarah, Willie, Christine, Lee? Okay. All right, so a motion's made by Councilmember Hills with a condition added to it. And David, would you read that condition just so there's clarity on it?
Yes, to provide a continuous, at least 6-foot public access directly in front of the building.
Outstanding.
Mr. Palermo going to vote for that?
He's going to abstain.
Hey, you, sit down. Causing trouble, Steve. All right, I got a motion. It's been with the, some amended language. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Mortland. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hands. All those opposed? All those abstaining? So I have 4 in favor and 1 abstaining. Thank you very much. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Congratulations, gentlemen. Do I have a motion for closure? Motion made by Councilmember Hills, seconded by Councilmember Hall. All those in favor of closure, please raise your hands. All those in favor of closure, please raise your hands. Closure, all right, closure passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Being that there are no other items, this mayor and council meeting of November 13th, 2023 is adjourned. We move to closure. Thank